Hello, everybody. As you might know, I'm from Estonia. Estonia is a small country in the European Union with only 1.3 million of population. And despite its size, Estonia is one of the most innovative countries in the world. And by the number of startups, Estonia now is number 3 in the European Union. Well, certainly living in this country, it would be quite logical to have an idea of open up an innovative IT pizzeria in Estonia, Dodo Pizza. I'm writing a letter to Fedor. He rejects me, but there was one phrase there. Please write me in a year. Maybe something will change. And me, as a real Estonian, was waiting for 1 year. And exactly in a year's time, I'm writing further another letter. And oh wonder, further says, look, we already opened in Romania. We're opening in Lithuania. Please come down to talk. Well, I did, and we started the business. And in 2015, I, fully inspired and full of energy, optimism, and enthusiasm, took a mortgage, a credit with my own house as collateral, and we opened up a pizzeria in the center of the city. Very modest facade of the pizzeria. And working in Dodo, I can compare it with love or falling in love. Chemistry, hormones, something else. You cannot sleep at night. You're full of energy. You do 2 jobs at a time. And when chemistry is out, you start to realize that actually it is not that rosy and not that wonderful as you had imagined at the beginning, because of course the volume is growing, but very slowly so. My wife, who, well, she thought that, well, okay, I would go to the kitchen to sort of play, to make pizzas, and will not get involved in anything. Suddenly, she started to ask some bizarre questions. Victor, so you borrowed money, and if something goes wrong, it's not only you but myself who will have to repay, because you borrowed the money and the collateral is our joint real estate. Well, I started to really think. And in about 5 to 6 months, I had an idea, very quiet idea, and then louder and louder. And why the hell did you start all this? Well, I'd better be selling utensils and pots and pans. So just wanted new emotions. What a businessman. Well, I was nervous, and then suddenly I thought, okay, guys, let's calm down. We have to get involved in the processes. We will have to reflect on what kind of steps to be made and just do the business. And I have to act. And we were saying that what's so unique in Dodo Pizza in the Estonian market? We've identified several elements. Number one, we hadn't had this kind of pizza before as a product. Well, we used to have a thin Italian pizza or fat pump pizza on the pan. And the second unique feature or phenomenon for Estonia was that no one had free delivery. Even now, after 2.5 years, the Estonian market so far does not have a company which would deliver free of charge. And the third is the speed of delivery, the guarantee of time slot. That was also a unique phenomenon for Estonia. 60 minutes or the next pizza free of charge. So marketologists, our slogan sounds a little bit different. 60 minutes or the next pizza free of charge. So based on all those unique features, we decided that we should pump the product and the delivery. To do it, we have to start it from many sides: marketing, quality of product, speed of delivery, and the human resources, the staff. Products and speed of delivery. Well, I'm not going to talk about that, but two other points like staff and marketing, or marketing and staff. So the staff, a new pizzeria, in opening, there was a turnover because people would come and go. The guys we had opened pizzeria with, those who had visited Syktyvkar, they couldn't bear it, and also some disputes started in our opinions as to how to go to the bright future, differed very much, and we had to divorce. So we sort of were without the management. Then my wife decided to generally manage the pizzeria, and I started to do marketing and strategic thinking. What kind of decisions we made about the human resources? First of all, we decided not to go repressive, but a friendly, parent-like style of management. Thus, we felt very soon that the feedback was that the people and the young people started to trust us. And trust so much, even more than the production necessity required them. They started to tell us stories about their unhappy lives and ask for advice. Some others wanted to get our brains about their relationship with their parents. And we felt this trust and thus managed to build up the pivot of our company. When we did it, we decided that ruthlessly we will have to get rid of incidental people in the team. Incidental people, we used to have them, especially at the start, and you couldn't avoid it. And there were people, such strangers, that I remember even one case when we were leaving the pizzeria, saying goodbye, everybody, we're leaving, and suddenly we got stuck, and we could hear the manager of the shift saying, "So guys, the boss is out. Let's drink coffee, all of us." So having built up the pivot of the team, well, everybody else joined in, and then we gave over this staff function to a young man. We were so happy at the decision because the new young man who was in charge of our staff, he was talking to the guys in their own language, and we on our part were talking our own language. So, and there was a great tandem. So then, about marketing events. Well, I very often address Romania for experience, because Serge was the pioneer in on this way to Europe. And at the last Congress, he said what a businessman should do if he ran out of money. And he said, you have to spend even more money. And I listened to him and accepted the idea, but not that much. And I thought that maybe we should do some marketing events without investing lots of money. And it turned out that it was quite possible. Number one, Facebook is our best. In Russia, I think it's Vkontakte. In Estonia, it is Facebook. That's the whole thing. To develop the Facebook, well, I decided to read the experience of development of Facebook in Romania, and then started to post 2 to 3 posts a day on our page to attract the audience. At some point, I realized that my fantasy and myself is just not enough to post 2 to 3 posts a day. So the next development point of Facebook was my realization that we have to do the announcements for money. And the posts we write should not be very frequent, but they should be posted for money. Facebook, well, I don't know, God knows its algorithm, but it so happened that when we started to actively post, and as a result, we could see that it is now reviewed as a spam, and no one, and even subscribers didn't receive it. So what I decided to do is to study the promos and announcements and how to boost the posts. And the most important in paid promo in Facebook is the knowledge as to how to fine-tune the audience geographically or age-wise, and by behavior and by their preferences. So the next thing was Google. Google is our second best, because in Russia I think maybe it's Yandex, which is our. Well, here it's again. I decided to start to study Google AdWords and realized that I had to find the keywords in Russian and Estonian. Then I studied the ads of our competitors, then created our own. Then in Google, we are now represented. Then it was clear that we are seen in internet. Well, the third thing is barter. Barter is a very tricky thing. And in principle, I didn't even believe in it, because I thought that who's going to sell you an ad for you to pay not in cash but in pizzas? But it turned out that that's really an existing thing, and it is quite a doable thing. We bought ads on the radio, and instead of buying with money, we feed them with pizzas, and thus we managed to acquire several radio stations and printed editions, including tourist guides, and we paid with our pizzas. Sponsorship, also a very important thing. Well, actually, all the events, as you understand, they don't need any money. And sponsorship, also, we are not paying in cash. We are paying in pizzas. We sponsored a lot of sports events. Football, volleyball, basketball, dancing. And what we requested in exchange was an opportunity to hand out flyers, roll-ups, and a mandatory post in Facebook on their page. Not just Dodo existing somewhere, but the lottery of our Dodo Pizza with a mandatory comment. Participants usually write with whom, with his friends, he would eat this pizza to target the friends. Very simple way which allows you to expand your audience considerably. Offices. Last but one Congress, it was said that it was very important to penetrate the offices. We also realized that it is important, but we found a sort of not untrivial way to do it. We did it in a joint loyalty act with internet shop which is selling stationery. And I was not very much optimistic about this loyalty act, but it turned out, I thought that the essence of this act is those who are buying stationery at 100 euros sum or more will be given at any time convenient to him a big Dodo pizza with free delivery. Well, first I thought, who's going to buy a stationery at the sum of 100 euros? But it turned out that every day companies and banks and different institutions are buying stationery. And thanks to this loyalty act, which was conducted which lasted a month. We gave an opportunity to taste our pizza to 300 officers. And this act didn't cost us much because we were not handing out it free of charge, our pizzas. The stationery company was buying our pizzas at a discount. Well, at a meeting of marketologists, one of the teams said, we switched off all the discounts and started to deliver joy. And I liked the idea very much. And we also decided that we are selling not pizzas, but we are selling emotions. But we decided to go even further. We switched all discounts, off all discounts, and rejected all presents or gifts in free of charge pizzas, and also a very risky step. We increased the prices. Our experience then demonstrated that our turnover did not decline, and since we had switched off everything which reduced our profitability, the profit increased considerably. And we were doing it, and the turnover growing gradually, and by the end of the day, we pumped the delivery, and in March of 2018, our turnover just in one pizzeria was 9.3 million rubles. We have a great potential because practically we have a dead room, because 80% of this turnover is covered by delivery. And I'm asked very often about the secret, if there is one. I have been reflecting on the secret, and I understood that the secret is that you should never stop learning. Whether you are an experienced businessman or not, because it's not myself being so clever to do all those events. That's all been done from what I heard from partners, friends from here. And before the Congress, sometime before the Congress, in VK Dodo Business Group, there was a questionnaire. And the question there was, after the Congress, has anything changed in the operations of your pizzeria? The majority answered, look up the performance. That out of those who said yes or no, it's turned out that if you look at the length of this graph, that every fourth who decided to say, he said, no, nothing has changed. And I looked up at the questionnaire and thought, well, how come, folks, how come it happens this way? The 25% of those saying no, either they are so smart or cool they don't have to change anything, or they are just lazy enough because they don't want to change anything. So please listen to whatever is being said during the Congress. Listen to the networking talks. Talk to other partners. And adapt it to your market and apply it and use it in your markets. When I was getting ready for this Congress at home, my wife asked me, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm getting ready for my statement." And she asked, "And what about the topic? Do you know it?" I said, "Yes, I do." Well, to share the experience, why we have a successful pizzeria in Estonia. Well, it's obvious, she answered, because you were just lucky having this kind of wife. Thank you.